Good evening and welcome to our 30 Days to Freedom, Becoming Authentic teleconference. This teleconference is something that is being brought to you by Upscale Desires and Nikeema. I am your facilitator this evening, Nikeema. If you got an invitation to this teleconference, I want to thank you for joining us. I also want to encourage you to give the link and the information to any friends that you may feel that may benefit from the information that we may be giving today and any upcoming topics that we may have in the future. So one of the things I wanted to do tonight before we got started is I wanted to tell you a little bit about me. I wanted to give you a little bit of background as to what we're going to cover tonight. And then finally, I want to go ahead and talk about courage and commitment and what it really takes for us not to settle for less than what we deserve in our lives. Okay, first off, being someone who has looked for love since the age of 11 years old, we're talking over 20 years of searching for this thing, for this, what I would consider a tangible thing. I was always looking for this object of love, a symbol of love, looking for it in things from all facets of life, whether it be men or drugs or food or some sort of addiction of choice. There's always been this void in my life. The void came to my life when my mother, at the age of 11, decided that there was a part of her and we couldn't be together. She decided that living with me and being with me wasn't what she wanted to do. So one day I came home from school. My mom said, I'm leaving and you can't go with me. And ever since then, there's been this looking for security in my life. So for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, you're talking decades upon decades, I searched for this empty jewel within my soul. And it wasn't until 2008 where I was really starting to bury myself alive under the pain, under the hurt, under the sorrow. And, I mean, I'd been successful throughout the years. I had, tasted the better life, and I understood. I've gotten a great education. I was able to overcome some circumstances. But there was still this emptiness. There was still this vagueness, this room full of nothing that was just filling my soul. And every single day I found myself trying to fill it, trying to satisfy this unforgiving thirst. So here we are in a marriage times 2, in my second marriage, and things are not working out. I'm going through financial hardship. I have this business, but it's not prospering like it should. It's not prospering like it should, and it's becoming, very hard to live. And I took all of that negative energy, and I kept playing this song in my head, you're not good enough, you're never going to be good enough, you're not good enough, you're never going to be good enough. And I kept playing that song over and over and over and over again. And every day I would find myself going deeper and deeper into depression, deeper and deeper into sorrow, deeper and deeper into fear. And then so finally I decided that this is not what I wanted to do. This is just not a life that I wanted to leave anymore. I didn't want to do this anymore. I didn't want to breathe anymore. I didn't want to cope anymore. I didn't want to have to succeed anymore. I didn't want to have to do anything. So I took it upon myself to take my life. I took it upon myself to say, this is it for me. I quit. And in my unsuccessful attempt to take my life, I realized that it wasn't that I wanted to die. I just wanted to stop hurting. I wanted someone else to come in and rescue me. I wanted someone else to tell me that I was, great and I was good enough and I could do it. That's all I was really looking for. So I checked myself into a hospital, and I sat there for days, and it was on day 2 where I was on the floor and I was crying, and realized that there was just a little girl inside of me, about 11 years old, who just needed to be loved. And for all of the things that I had poured upon her. I never loved her. And from that moment on, I knew I had to love myself. And not in the sense of, and when I say, I coach people on how to love themselves. They say, oh, well, I love me, and I buy myself things, and I love who I am, and I know myself. And I'm not talking about that superficial person that we show the world. I'm talking about that one deep, deep, deep within. I had to learn to love me. I had to learn to love Nikeema. I had to learn to love that 11-year-old. I had to learn to appreciate her. I had to learn that she wasn't at fault for what happened. I had to learn how to control my environment and my emotions. And it was through that process, it was through that rebuilding, it was through that reconnection that I realized that I was becoming authentic. I was becoming my real self, my true self, my authentic self. And it was been ever since then my mission to be able to share that, because living as I am is the true me, is the most exciting, most amazing feeling in the world. There's no hiding. There's no hidden agendas. There's no fear. Everything looks bigger and brighter and bolder and more tangible and just scrumptious. I mean, you run out of adjectives to describe, the things that you feel. And it was in that discovery that I knew that I had to be able to speak this word to someone else. I had to be able to show others that you too can march into life and say, this is what my life should be, and this is how I choose to do it, and this is how I'm going to wake up every day, and this is how I'm going to conquer the world, and this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it like this, and this is what is going to happen. And when things don't happen according to how you do it, you understand that it is in the best interest of your life, and you move in that saying that it's not a mistake but a lesson. It's not a hardship, but it's a reward of knowledge. And you just move through life and you understand that you are attached to an abundance, that you are attached to an unforgiving, unwielding, exactly. Like it's just so that such a huge, you can't really wrap a word around it, because it's such an amazing entity, and that you are connected to that, and that there's nothing in this world that you cannot have. There's nothing in this world that you cannot be a part of. There's nothing in this world that you cannot create. And having that level of faith, like they said, the faith the size of a mustard seed, even when the hail is coming in, when the bills are piling up, when the lights are off and the notice is on the door, and the man walks out of your life, or the girl breaks your heart, and there's these little things that happen, and you're just like, I can't go on, I can't do it, I want to quit, and you just have that faith that you know 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 that everything is going to be all right. And when you can have that level of faith, just that little teeny tiny pinhead mustard seed of a faith that you know 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 that everything is going to be all right, that you know that everything is going to work out, that you know it always does. And as you begin to look back at your life, you begin to see things. You begin to say, you know what? I made it through that. I made it through that. And see, this is a moment in my life when I didn't think I was going to make it. And I made it through that. And look at that. I remember making it through that. And oh, my goodness, I remember making it through that. And you begin to pile this list of the things that you've made it through. And you begin to say, you know what? If I made it through so much, I know I can make it through this. This is nothing. This is just a level of test, and I believe, and I know that I know that I know that I know. And you begin to walk, and you see things, magic happen in your life, and it just happens. It turns on like a switch, and things come out of nowhere, and people call you, and opportunities arise, and good things will happen to you. But sometimes we get afraid to believe in that little bit of faith. We get afraid to believe, and it gets clouded by this thing called fear. And fear is just false evidence appearing real. Fear is simply an illusion. Fear doesn't exist. And I know it looks tangible, and you feel the heat of fear, you feel the pressure of fear, but it's really a projection of our own thoughts. Fear is simply a projection of our own thoughts. And if you can change your thoughts, you change your projection, and fear just magically goes away. It magically disappears. It ceases to exist. And we wonder, how is it we find ourselves wrapped up in worry, wrapped up in anxiety, wrapped up in panic? When you take the time and you find yourself in any of those thresholds, you take a deep breath and you remember what is true. You remember what is fact, and that fear isn't real, and that fear is just a projection of my own thoughts. And if I change my thoughts, I change my projection and perception, and then fear doesn't exist. Fear doesn't exist. Fear doesn't exist. And we tend to find the small things in life and harp on them, and we try to control them, and we worry ourselves with little things that, in a sense, don't matter. We can't change anyway because we're not willing to change ourselves. And when we find that a lot of the things and a lot of the discontent that we have in life are really because of our own resistance to the process and our own resistance to the flow, that's where we have negativity. When we realize that if I just go with it, if I just believe in the process, if I just believe and have faith in the way things are going, take the necessary action and just believe and just have faith. And we do that. And it's good to do it once a day, and it's good to say, you know what, I got it, and we go to church on Sunday, and we get our hallelujah on, we get our praise dance on, and we can dance all night. Oh, and we get our Harlem Shake, and we do all these wonderful things, but then as soon as we walk out into the parking lot, we're worried about how we're going to get home on, you know, the gas tank on E, and no money in our pocket, and no money in the bank, and not even $1 so that you can go in and get the cash and then just pay the balance when your check comes. We worry. And we worry about what we're going to eat that afternoon when we ain't got no food at home. And nobody's offering for us to come over their house. And we worry about how we're going to get to work tomorrow, because today is your last day of your bus pass. And we worry about these things. Yet we just spent 2 hours confessing that we believe in the process. We believe. We've got faith the size of mustard seed, but yet we never exercise. So how can we learn to live in the process, to live in the flow, to understand that things are just going to be all right? Just 2 things that it takes. I need you guys to grab your pens, grab your papers. I'm hoping that every time you come to our Becoming Authentic teleconference, that you bring a pen and paper, because it's definitely important. The 2 things that it takes is commitment and courage. Now, commitment is crucial, because many times we start out with new things, and we say we're going to do stuff, and we go through the Holy Ghost experience, and we have the come to Jesus meeting, and we look life in the face and we say, you know what, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to stop using drugs. I'm going to stop worrying. I'm going to stop procrastinating. I'm going to stop. And you have that focused energy, and you're ready to make things happen in your life. And then the next day, the next moment, the next second, you shift. You change. You do it differently. It takes commitment. People who lose 50 pounds takes commitment. People who are successful, it takes commitment. People who are multimillionaires takes commitment. People who sell platinum albums, it takes commitment. And people who change their stars, it takes commitment. People who become authentic, it takes commitment. It takes commitment. And sometimes we are so bogged down with so much gunk, we've got to deprogram in order to reprogram. And that deprogramming may require you to become conscious of your thoughts on a second-by-second basis. And I know a lot of people say, well, Nikeema, that's a lot. That's a lot to put on a person. That's a lot to require from me. But the idea is, and understanding is that with great change comes great responsibility. If you're not willing to do the work, you're not going to reap the benefits. You're not going to sow seeds of prosperity. You're not going to reap the benefits of prosperity. And you have to sow a seed every day. If I told you, if you went out to your garden, and in order to get prize-winning tulips, that you have to go out to your garden every day and prune and weed and water, and you said, you know what, I'm committed to having tulips, world-famous tulips. I'm committed to that. I'm committed to having world-famous tulips. So, therefore, I will go out every day and prune and weed and water. And in 8 months, you go to a flower convention, and by gosh, your effort has awarded you a prize. The same goes with your life. The same goes with your relationships. The same goes with you. If you commit every day to being the best you can be, at the end of the day, you will be the best you can be for that day, for that moment, for that second, for that lifetime. You will be the best you if you make that commitment. And once it becomes an automatic thing, once it becomes ingrained, because you didn't always know how to brush your teeth. You didn't always know how to tie your shoes. You didn't always know how to drive a car, but you practiced. You kept doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again in order to get the result that you wanted. And when it didn't work out, you changed the way that you did it in order to get what? The result that you wanted. You adapted in order to get the result that you wanted. Now, we know what insanity is. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting something different, versus doing something with practice, failing at it, readjusting your approach, and doing it again. Changing the way that you're doing things. Now, look around in your life. Look around and do a self-evaluation. And this is what we do on the first few days and 30 days to freedom becoming authentic. This is what we do. We take a self-inventory. And if you look around your life and you find displeasure, then there's something you need to do differently. You need to make a change. You cannot do the same thing and expect something differently. If you are broke and you keep doing the same thing each and every day, you're going to stay broke. You've got to decide, okay, this isn't working for me, so I've got to do something different. What am I going to do? And just do it. Do something different. Make the commitment to do something different. And then if that doesn't work, make the commitment to do something different because you've made the commitment to be wealthy. You made the commitment to have a successful relationship. You made the commitment to live your life to the fullest. So you're going to do what it takes in order to get the results that you want. Am I right? Am I right? And we tend to find these excuses for why we don't have what we want. We tend to blame it on others, say, oh, it's my ex's fault, it's my parents' fault, it's my kids' fault, it's my everybody else in the world's fault but yours. Everybody else in the world owes you something. Everybody else in the world is accountable for you. And if you continue to ride that wave, if you continue to ride that storyline, you're going to stay exactly where you are. If you begin to take personal responsibility for you and you only, you're bound to see the fruits of your own labor. You're bound to see it. You're bound to see it. It takes commitment. Now, you can't just be committed to something. You can't just wake up in the morning and say, what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go out. I'm going to be the best I can be, and I'm going to get it on, and I'm going to be the best, and there's nothing to stop me. Because as soon as you walk out the door, somebody's going to test you. As soon as you go, like, the bills that are coming, it's like, you know what, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm going to stay the course, and I'm going to do this business, and I'm going to do something, and I'm going to make this business work, and I tried it this way, you know what, I'm going to try this, it didn't work for me yesterday, so I'm going to do it this way tomorrow, and I'm going to do, if this doesn't work, I'm going to do it this way, and if this doesn't work, I'm going to do it, because I'm determined to make this thing work. And what's going to happen? The bills are going to come, the lights are going to go off, the note's going to be at the door, your car is going to be repoed, and you're just like, I don't understand why I can't make this thing work for me. I quit. I'm going to do something, and I'm just going to give up on this idea. I'm going to give up on this dream. It takes courage to stand in the face of that and say, you know what? I deserve everything I desire. I deserve everything I desire. And this is what I desire. This is my goal. I intend on seeing this goal through. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that I am successful at this, and I'm going to find another way to do this. I'm going to find another way to make this happen. I'm going to find another way to get my desires. I'm going to find a way. And you make that commitment, and the things will come to you. And maybe it is get a part-time job, but it'll be something that you can do in conjunction with. It will never, ever, ever take you away from your goal, take you away from your desire. God will never snatch a dream away from you, ever. And that's how come you know it. When you can still do it and still have the fullness of heart and still have the fullness of mind and still have the fullness of happiness along with it, then you know it's the meant to be. Then you know there's something good going to come from it. Because happiness is the test. If you can do it and still be happy, then that's for you. But if you find yourself like, man, I got to go and I got to punch the clock, and I don't want to punch the clock, and I got to listen to this supervisor, and they just stupid as I am. This is stupid, and I hate stupid people, and I hate this, and I hate working in retail, and I hate these, and I hate, and then you get up in the morning, and all you do is hate, and you hate on your kids, and you hate you got to get up early, and you hate you got to do this, and you hate you got to do that, and you hate, and you hate, and you hate. That's not what that's supposed to be about. You're in the wrong thing. Try something different because that's not it for you. Happiness. The measure of life is in your happiness. If it makes you happy, and I'm not talking about some superficial, temporary happiness. I'm talking about good, down-home, fundamental happiness. I'm talking about good, fundamental happiness. I'm talking about that good happiness. Things that make you feel free and in love and totally, uh, full of life and joy. Full of life, full of energy, full of joy, full of happiness. So, what we learned today is we learned commitment. And today I challenge you to make a commitment today. I challenge you to make a commitment. Go ahead. Make the commitment. Make the commitment today to live your life to your fullest capacity, to do what your heart desires, to program, to deprogram, and reprogram yourself to become new. I challenge you to become authentic. I dare you to swim through the muck of garbage that is festering in your soul, to clean it out, to flush it away, to scrub it clean, and to become you. To live through your life through the eyes that only you were created to see. I dare you. And then I challenge you to do it with courage. And I'm talking about that Dorothy Wizard of Oz courage. You know, as he says it, courage. You need courage. And sometimes it's good to have other courageous people around you. So with that, I want to offer you the opportunity to join my Facebook group. It is a private group. You do have to send a request in order to get in. Go to my website, NikeemaLee.com, and I want to be able to encourage you every day. I want to help you encourage. I want you to know that you're not by yourself. I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that there are other courageous warriors out there living this life one day at a time, a moment at a time, 1 second at a time. Go to NikeemaLee.com and go to request the free book and daily devotion. I want you to go there and click. I want you to fill in that form. And we will definitely get you on our personal affirmation list. And once you do that, and you get locked in, we will lock you into our Facebook group. And that's where you can chat, you can post questions, you can post other words of encouragement and affirmation, all sorts of things. And we can get you a copy of 30 Days to Freedom. Because I want to be able to help you get free. I want to help you get free. I want to help you live your life the best of your ability. I know you're tired. I know you are looking for answers. The reason why you're listening to this is because you are looking for something. And I have it. And I can help you. You don't have to do it by yourself. Because I had to do it by myself. Now, I had coaches. I had books. I've taken all of that material and I've put it in a wonderful, wonderful book. A wonderful, wonderful system. Look at the testimonies of other women who've gone through this, other people who've gone through this. And I tell you that the freedom that you have is unreal. It is so amazing. It is so beautiful. Join the challenge. Join the challenge. I want to thank you. We will be back here next Tuesday night. Next Tuesday night, we'll be right here. Make sure you call in. Our call-in number is 661. Tell your friends, 661-673-8600. and our access code is 368130 pound. That is 661-673-8600. The access code is 368130 pound. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Next week we're going to talk about how to open your heart again. How to open your heart again. It's scary. It's scary to face hurt and pain. How do you face it? Join us next week. I look forward to talking with you all.